Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat across the table from a friend, a father, a husband, and noticed how he shifts uncomfortably in his seat every few minutes? How he suddenly excuses himself during conversations, not once, but 2, 3, even 4 times, just to rush to the bathroom? You probably thought, he's just getting older, happens to everyone, right? But deep down, he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't tell you he barely sleeps through the night anymore. He doesn't mention how he dreads long car rides or public events because of that constant urge, the pressure, the frustration. And maybe, just maybe, you're starting to feel the same. Or maybe you love someone who is, and you're worried but not sure what to do. Tone shifts slightly to empathetic urgency. Here's the thing most people won't say out loud. For many older men, prostate problems creep in slowly, quietly stealing comfort, confidence, and freedom. And too often, it gets brushed aside. Oh, it's just age. Just cut down on water. Try this pill. Try that pill. But the truth? Most of those solutions barely scratch the surface. Now imagine this. There's a natural fruit, yes, a fruit, that's been quietly making waves in the health world. A fruit that may actually help reduce prostate swelling. One that's backed by real science. But here's the catch. Most men have never heard about it. Even some doctors won't tell you about it. Because it's not part of the typical prescription game. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything. The real reasons behind prostate trouble, the simple changes that could bring real relief, and most importantly, I'll introduce you to this powerful fruit, how it works, where to find it, and why it could be the natural game changer you've been waiting for. So, stay with me, because by the time we're done, you'll not only understand what's really going on inside your body, you'll have options. Real, natural, honest options. And if any part of this feels personal, if this reminds you of your own journey or someone you love, take a second and comment, I'm here below. Let's create a space where men can finally talk about this stuff without shame. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. You deserve to feel strong, confident, and informed. That's what LifeStamina is here for. Now let's dive into the first and most misunderstood warning sign of prostate trouble that too many people ignore. Alright, let's get into it. Because what's happening to your body, or the body of someone you love, isn't just one of those things. It has a name, it has a cause, and most importantly, there are things you can do about it. Let's start with something that sounds small, but is actually a very big deal. 1. Hidden prostate struggles. Most men ignore. John is 76. He used to love sitting on his porch every morning, sipping coffee and reading the paper. But lately, mornings don't feel the same. Because now, John wakes up 5, sometimes 6 times a night just to use the bathroom. He brushes it off, says it's just part of aging. But deep down, he's frustrated, tired, and honestly, a little embarrassed. He doesn't talk about it. And if you've ever felt that way or seen someone who has, you know exactly what I mean. See, this is something doctors call benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It's not cancer. But that doesn't mean it's harmless. As men get older, the prostate tends to grow. And when it does, it can press against the urethra, causing that frequent urge, weak flow, and that constant feeling like you still haven't finished going. Now here's where most people go wrong. They ignore it. They tell themselves it'll go away. They just drink less water or stop going out as much. But doing nothing can make things worse, sometimes leading to urinary tract infections, bladder damage, or even kidney strain. The good news? There are simple, natural ways to get ahead of it. Cutting back on caffeine, drinking more water throughout the day instead of all at once, and most importantly, getting regular checkups. And we're just getting started. Because this next point might be the real reason your symptoms are getting worse, even if you're already trying to manage them. 2. Inflammation, the silent aggravator. Now meet Michael. He's 68, fit, eats his greens, walks every morning, yet still, the prostate symptoms keep creeping in. He wonders, what more can I possibly do? Turns out the answer was hidden inside him all along. Michael was dealing with chronic inflammation. You can't see it. You don't feel it the way you feel a sprain or a bruise, but it lingers deep in the tissues. And for the prostate, that kind of swelling is like adding fuel to a fire. You see, inflammation can enlarge the prostate even more, tightening everything around the urethra. And it's not always caused by bad habits. Sometimes it's the stress you carry, the chemicals in your food, or even long-term exposure to certain medications or environmental toxins. And here's the kicker. Most people think inflammation only means sore joints or arthritis. But inside your body, it can be silently disrupting everything: digestion, sleep, energy, and yes, even your prostate. So what can you do? Start small. Turmeric, ginger, green tea, omega-3 fatty acids. These are natural inflammation fighters. But there's one food in particular that seems especially powerful for the prostate. It's a fruit. Not flashy, not exotic, but potentially life-changing. And that's where we're headed next. 3. The powerful fruit, saw palmetto berry. For generations, the native tribes of Florida had a secret. When their elders began showing signs of urinary problems, they turned to a small, dark berry, one that grew low to the ground but carried tremendous healing power. That berry? Saw palmetto. Today, modern science is catching up to what they always knew. Saw palmetto berries contain compounds that help shrink the inner part of the prostate, especially in men with BPH. It works by gently reducing the pressure on the urethra, helping to improve flow, reduce that nighttime urgency, and bring back peace of mind. But, and this is important, not all saw palmetto products are created equal. The market is full of cheap pills with fillers, low-quality extraction, or barely any active ingredients. That's why, if you're going to try it, look for whole fruit extracts, not just powder. Make sure it contains 85 to 95% fatty acids and sterols, which are the active components. Some people even steep dried saw palmetto berries into a tea for a more natural experience. Just know, it's not magic. It's not overnight, but it's real. And for many men, it's the beginning of something better. But let me warn you, there's a silent saboteur that could cancel out all your progress, and it's probably in your kitchen right now. The 4. The worst foods for your prostate. Let's talk about Frank. Frank's the guy who does everything by the book. He takes his supplements, drinks more water, even bought a prostate pillow. But every week, he's eating burgers, sausages, cheese-heavy casseroles, and the occasional, "I deserve this" milkshake. And here's the truth. You can't fight inflammation while feeding it. Foods like processed meats, excess dairy, fried foods, and refined sugars have been linked to higher rates of prostate inflammation and hormonal imbalance. They spike insulin, disrupt testosterone balance, and trigger the very symptoms you're trying to avoid. So here's what you can do instead. Shift toward a Mediterranean-style diet. Think olive oil, leafy greens, fatty fish like salmon, nuts, and colorful fruits, especially ones with antioxidants like pomegranate and yes, saw palmetto. Food isn't just fuel, it's medicine. And in the case of prostate health, it might be the most powerful medicine you've got. But there's still one thing we need to talk about. Because even with all the right tools, knowledge, diet remedies, many men still suffer in silence. The mental toll of prostate issues. Let's talk about Henry. He's been married for 40 years, loves his wife, but lately he feels disconnected. Not just physically, but emotionally. He's frustrated with his body, ashamed of the changes, and scared to admit it, even to the person he trusts most. Henry's not alone. Prostate problems don't just hit the body, they hit the mind. They wear down confidence, disrupt intimacy, turn simple moments into silent battles against fear, embarrassment, and isolation. And yet, many men keep it all bottled up because they think talking about it makes them look weak. But here's the truth. Staying silent is what makes things worse. Speaking up, that's strength. Joining a support group, talking to your doctor, sharing your experience with a friend or your partner. That's where healing begins. Not just physically, but emotionally. You don't have to walk this path alone. There are natural tools, there's medical help, there's community. There's hope. And speaking of hope, before we wrap up, I want to share something from the heart. Because all the facts in the world don't mean much if they don't help you feel seen, understood, and supported. Soft pop, ready for emotional climax to follow. But beyond all the facts, there's something deeper we need to talk about. Something that goes beyond symptoms, supplements, or science. It's about how you live, how you love, and how you hold on to your dignity, no matter what your body is going through. Let's talk about that next. You know, it's tough, really tough. Watching a father, a husband, or even yourself slowly lose the spark that once came so easily. That quiet strength, that unshakable confidence, that simple freedom To go about your day without planning around a bathroom. To sleep through the night without waking in discomfort. To laugh without the weight of worry behind your eyes. And for many, it's not just physical, it's emotional. Because every time you have to excuse yourself from the table, every time you hesitate before going on that trip, every time you look at yourself and wonder, is this just how it's going to be now? That's not just about the prostate. That's about the loss of freedom, of energy, of dignity. But here's what I want you to hold on to. And hold it tight. This is not the end. This isn't the closing chapter. And it's not the start of some slow, quiet decline. What if this moment, the one where you're finally paying attention, where you're here, watching this video, what if this is your wake-up call? Not from fear, but from clarity. Because you're not powerless, you never were. You just needed the right information, the right tools, and maybe a little reminder that your health is still yours to fight for. Tone becomes a bit more uplifting and grounded. It doesn't have to start with pills or big life changes. Sometimes it starts with one small thing, swapping out the heavy meal for something lighter, adding that Palmetto tea into your daily routine, going for a short walk each morning, even if it's just around the block. One choice, one shift, one yes to your well-being. Because the body is always trying to heal. Even now, even in your 60s, even in your 70s, your 80s, your body is on your side. But it needs your help, it needs your attention, and it needs your belief that life, real, vibrant, comfortable life is still possible. Tone slows slightly, softer, warmer. You deserve to sleep through the night without interruption, to go out for a walk without mapping out restrooms, to feel like yourself again. It's not too late, not even close, and you don't have to do it alone. The answers are here, the support is here, and more importantly, you're here. Which means you've already taken the most important step. Now, let's walk the rest of this path together. Because your health, your strength, your life, they're all worth fighting for. Alright, before you go, let's take a moment to bring it all together. We talked about a lot today, and every bit of it matters. We started with the most common, yet most ignored red flag, frequent urination. That feeling of constantly needing to go, the restless nights, the slow erosion of comfort and sleep. Then we uncovered a deeper culprit, inflammation. Not the kind you can see or feel easily, but the silent kind that slowly tightens its grip on your prostate health, draining your energy and stealing your peace. From there, we met a humble yet powerful ally, the palmetto berry. This small fruit, used for centuries by those who truly understood the wisdom of nature, now backed by science, offering hope to men all over the world. But we didn't stop there. We pulled back the curtain on the foods that sabotage progress. Those greasy, sugary, overly processed choices that may taste good in the moment, but slowly chip away at your strength. And finally, we talked about the emotional toll. The part no one talks about enough. The weight of staying silent, the quiet shame, the fear of becoming less than in your own eyes, and how it's not weakness to ask for help. In fact, it's one of the strongest things you can do. Now, let me ask you something from the heart. Have you ever tried a natural remedy for prostate health? Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, or maybe you're just starting to explore this journey for yourself or someone you love. Whatever your story is, I want to hear it. Scroll down to the comments and share your experience. Even if it's just one word or a simple "I'm here," your voice matters. And you never know who you might help just by speaking up. And if you found value in this conversation, if something clicked, if something felt true, then go ahead and tap that like button. Not because of algorithms or numbers, but because this message deserves to be heard. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to LifeStamina. This channel is more than just videos. It's a growing community, a safe, honest space for real conversations about health, aging, dignity, and strength, without hype, without judgment. So go ahead, hit subscribe, turn on that bell, and stay connected. Tone becomes warm, reassuring, gently inspiring. You're not alone in this. Not now, not ever. Thank you for giving your time, your attention, and most of all, your trust. Stay strong, stay informed, and always remember, your best years aren't behind you. They're still ahead. I'm proud of you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.